Vi sådan herover. Jeg kan godt komme lidt der. Yoo-hoo!
Hi friends and welcome to Wives vs. World.
I'm Anya!
I'm Jackie, and today we want to talk a little bit about long-distance relationships and some tips to get you through them in the best way possible.
We're making this video because we've done long distance twice in the 12 years we've been together, and we're right about to do it again.
Hey, but luckily this time it won't be as long as the previous stints that we've had with it.
When we had been together for 9 months, I went to Japan for 5 months on exchange.
And then when we'd been together for 5 years and some, I went to Japan for a 5-month stay. So this year, Anya is finishing up her master's studies. And to do so, she has voluntarily chosen to go to the other side of the country, which is, what is that, like a 5-hour drive and a ferry ride, which we appreciate might not be a lot to especially Americans out there, but to Danish people, it is literally the other side of the country. So it's like, it's so far.
You cannot get farther away than that in Denmark.
You cannot.
And I'll be staying there for 2 months. I have so much trouble saying that. I'll be staying
there for...
I'll be staying there for 2 months to do a kind of internship-ish project that will be the very last part of my master's degree. So obviously this is not about permanent...
Hey buddy, can you shut the fuck up?
This will not be about permanent long-distance relationship because we haven't tried that, and those tend to function a little bit differently.
But it will be about how to do temporary long-distance relationships.
So this time will obviously be very different from our last times apart, because the biggest difference will be that we'll be in the same time zone. Because when we were in Japan, the time difference was
8 or 9 hours.
Yeah,
no, 7
or 8 hours, right?
Yeah. So we always had to think who's asleep, who is not. Is it a good time? Oh, I'm at work. I'm at,
Yeah, and again, we'll be staying in the same country.
Yes.
So we'll still miss each other a lot. So we thought it would be good to kind of remember how we can stay close.
Yeah. How to make it bearable. So here are our 10 tips on staying close even though you're staying apart.
So obviously the first one is to stay in touch. Text a lot, phone each other a lot. Back when I was on exchange in 2009, we couldn't text each other. Both because phones couldn't text to the other part of the world back then, and there was no such thing as the Facebook Messenger or Line or...
Instagram wasn't anything, like nothing.
Social media wasn't a thing back then.
No, it was MSN or it was Skype.
Yeah, and we didn't have smartphones either. We had normal old... cell phones. So if we wanted to get in contact with each other, it was via mail or Skype. There was those 2 options, and it had to be on our computers.
Exactly, which made the second time around much easier because we both had smartphones by then. Or
exactly.
At least I did, and you had the desktop versions, so we could actually get in touch much more easily.
So the point is, since it's so easy now to stay connected, use that opportunity. Text each other, call each other, whatever social media is available.
Exactly.
Tip number 2. Schedule your appointments. Schedule when to talk to each other. Don't just sit and wait for the other person to be free so you can call, and do your phoning at that time. Because we have some experience with not doing this, especially the first time around, and I think to a very smaller degree second time around. We had the tendency to like sit by the computer and wait to hope the other person had time to talk, because it was hard to coordinate. So in Japan, sometimes I hurried home from school to hope to catch Jackie before you went to school in the morning, and I think that was not good. That was not a good experience. No. I think that is very detrimental to both of your experiences when you're apart.
No, exactly. That's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time, and you're just gonna feel bad, and it's a little sad. So don't do that.
We speak from experience.
Yes.
And this is...
Du skal sige number 3 thing.
Number 3 thing.
Nej, du skal ikke sige det.
The third thing is be honest when you talk. If you have concerns, if you have issues, if there are any problems, it's better to talk about them and get them out in the open. Because you might have some things that bother you. Oh, you never pick up, or you don't have time when I have time, and it seems you're not prioritizing me, whatever it may be. Bring it up.
It's really important to get it out in the open and talk it out. So because if you're holding on to something that you are annoyed with the other person or something, it'll just keep festering, and you'll become really annoyed and bitter, I think.
Get it out as soon as possible. Oh, this is not working for me. Fix it.
Yeah, exactly. The fourth thing, keep the appointments that you make. If you have agreed to talk on the phone once a week and you have scheduled a Thursday evening, then keep that appointment. Don't blow each other off, or don't forget it, or don't just whatever. If something comes up, obviously let the other person know so they won't sit and wait. Because few things can make you feel as terrible as sitting and waiting for your weekly phone call with your significant other and they just don't show up. It feels terrible. It's not fun, and I think that can really be a problem maker in a long distance relationship.
Exactly. I mean, we've both been on the receiving end of that, and it has not felt great. Oh, was that what I meant to?
Yeah.
You would rather do something frivolous with your friends?
Yeah. And of course, sometimes things come up and that's what happens. Yeah. But then just inform the person. Just don't let them sit and wait.
No.
Yeah. So the fifth thing. Let's talk about jealousy and envy, because I think those are the two biggest things that are the problem makers in long distance relationship. That's also my impression from watching television and stuff, that especially jealousy is a huge factor in long distance relationship.
Can I share an anecdote?
Yes.
So when Anya was in Japan, a couple of friends of ours were actually doing kind of the same thing. So when Anya was gone, so was this other person's girlfriend. To be honest, this other person was kind of jealous and ended up making me quite nervous by sharing stories about, what this person was doing. And then when Anya and this person met up, the things they were doing. It's not good. This is going to be an issue. Like sharing a bath, which, for the record, who the f*** cares? It was blown out of proportion to the point where, I started feeling very jealous. I started feeling very concerned. Oh no, what's she doing? But of course we talked and, it's nothing.
Yeah, so your friend was basically making it out to be that the other girl and I was cheating on you by being together. And of course that things like that is very easy to imagine when you can't talk to your person.
It's very human also, but there is a cure.
Yeah, talk to each other, seriously.
Oh no, my significant other is always talking about
Karen.
Ex-person, Karen, Clara, Steve, whatever.
Yeah. And luckily, neither of us are very prone to jealousy. We manage that pretty easily. But still, something like this specific situation could happen, even to us. The solution is usually to talk about it honestly. And the second part of it is about envy. Because when you're apart, the person who's away tend to do really interesting stuff. They tend to be the one where things are going on and they go to places and meet cool people. And
meanwhile,
the person at home
is going to be stuck at home doing the same thing, living the same place, having the same everyday life, except
even more boring because your significant other isn't there to keep you company. If you send a personalized message to your partner saying, oh honey, look at this, or this reminded me of you, or whatever, instead of just the partner looking from the outside in on social media or stuff like that, or it can also just be telling your partner about what you're gonna do and who you're gonna see. Beforehand.
Karen wants to say hi.
Whatever. So I think the key thing is trust. It's easy to say, I think it's harder to do, but seriously, trust each other. If the person, I don't know how it feels not to trust your partner. I think, be honest and trust that the person, that your partner is telling the truth and wants the best for both of you.
And if you're not trusting your partner, maybe you have to work that out first.
Yeah, talk about that then. Talk about your trust issues.
Number 6, include your partner in ways that text just doesn't convey. Send memes, send pictures or videos of whatever you're doing. Maybe send them a voice message. Try to make it so as when you are talking, or when they've slept and you've been doing something all day, they wake up to a lovely something. I was thinking of you. Stuff like that to make it feel more real.
Yeah, and definitely doing something like that will make you feel closer.
Now, number 7.
Send care packages.
Gimme.
Like, we've done that both ways. It's just really, really nice to get a package with either stuff from your home country or place or whatever, or get a package from wherever the other person is. It makes you feel so included, I think, and it really makes you feel like your partner cares about you.
So one really big part of Danish food culture is rugbrød or rye bread or kuropan if you're from Japan, which is not something you find in a lot of other cultures outside of Scandinavia and maybe northern Germany, I think. You couldn't get that in Japan. So when I got a care package from Anya with, candy and nice letters and stuff, and then just this rye bread, I cried. I'm not even exaggerating here. I cried so hard. I was so happy because I'd been going without that for months.
It can really help with the homesickness as well, getting something from home. Maybe it'll make you more homesick, but it's still really, really nice to get that little something from home.
Emotional spike in either one or the other direction.
Yeah.
Number 8, remember to celebrate your milestones, even while you're away. For us, we had our first anniversary as well as our 6th anniversary apart, and still we managed to either call or do something special or something like that. So I think for our first one, I was in contact with another one of our friends who was also in Japan, who brought Anya a flower on the day, because you have made plans with other people. I'm not holding that against you, but I made her bring you a flower and a small, here's from Jackie.
Yeah.
And I think you timed the care package for my exchange. So I got this whole thing and it was like, oh, it arrived just on our 6th anniversary. And there was a small ring in it, you remember? And there was some clothes. I still have that. The aforementioned rye bread, cry.
And a letter. So I think maybe we didn't do the best job at actually celebrating our milestones because we both had plans both days.
I was in school.
Yeah, but you also did something afterwards, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, and I was at the zoo with other people. That was great as well. And I think if it's possible to celebrate those milestones a little bit more while you're apart, I think that also helps keeping you together.
I love you. Number 9. Try not to feel bad if you ever feel like not talking to your partner. Maybe, I want to do something else. Because, you're going to be living in 2 different places. You're going to be having 2 separate everyday experiences. And then sometimes you might be oversaturated. Like you may have had a rough day or a rough week, or, getting adjusted is sometimes really difficult. Like culture shock is a real thing and it can really cause some fatigue. So maybe you're like, I cannot really, I don't want to talk to anyone. I wouldn't want to be with me unless I had to. And maybe your partner is not, on the list of people you really want to see right there. That's not something to feel bad about. It's a really natural feeling. And you just have to be honest about that. And maybe that's something that gives pause, and maybe you want to reflect on, do we want to talk every day? Or should we make it like every second day or once a week or something?
Exactly, and don't read too much into it if you don't feel like being in contact all the time. Don't start thinking like, what does this mean? Does this mean that we can live without each other? Is that a bad thing? Blah, blah, blah. It's fine if you don't want to talk all the time.
Be honest, like we said, and say, hey, I'm just not really feeling it today. Can we reschedule? That's perfectly fine. Number 10. The person who's away is going to be experiencing a lot of stuff, making a lot of new connections, having a bunch of stories to tell, and generally being out there and seeing the world. Meanwhile, one of you probably is going to be at home, doing the same things you always do. But it doesn't have to be like that.
The person who stays back or stays at home, they should really try to think of how they can get new experiences. Do they have some new places they could go? Can they start a new routine? Can they do something that they couldn't do with their partner? Are there any people they haven't seen in a long time that they can reconnect with?
Exactly. Pick up a new hobby.
Yeah, exactly. The feeling of staying back at home alone it can be really, really hard, honestly.
Exactly. It's not just FOMO, it's actually missing out, not just the fear of it. You're not getting to experience these new things that your partner is experiencing. That's okay. You can experience different new things.
Exactly, and I think that helps the experience a lot. the times that worked best for me was when I met up with people regularly. I had a tendency to binge watch series and sometimes not getting out of bed. And I think that was the most unhealthy part of it. And it's really important to take that responsibility onto yourself and try to make new experiences for yourself.
We will encourage you
Yeah.
to try new stuff. And then,
Yeah, exactly.
like a bonus, you'll have something to talk about. So that was our 10 tips for staying connected while being far away from each other during long-distance relationships. Was any of this helpful, guys? Let us know in the comments. Hopefully some of it was, of use.
And if you have any other tips on doing long-distance relationship that we didn't mention, please leave a comment below so other people can benefit from it. We hope you liked this video.
Was it something for you? Give us a thumbs up.
If you want more of us, you can find us on Instagram. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, we hope to see you next time.
Bye! Touch me.
Det en tester.
It's so easy to leave me. Number 6. Excuse me, I just transformed into a goat. Please don't step on my computer. Do not. Go away.